Hi everyone! This week we are going to be drawing a Mexican folk art bird and flower design. You're going to notice that everything on this side of the paper is pretty much exactly the same on this side of the paper, except for maybe the head of the bird. While this may look really complicated to draw, it's really not too terribly hard. What you will do is when you get your piece of white paper or a colored piece of paper, it doesn't really matter, you're going to want to fold it long ways, so long edge to long edge. And we are actually only going to be drawing half of the artwork, then tracing it with a Sharpie, and then flipping it over and tracing what we drew onto the other side. So this part will just get traced on. The only change is that we won't draw the bird's beak on this side, it's only drawn on this side. So let's get started. I'm going to set this one aside. Go ahead and grab your clean sheet of paper. You're going to take your long edge to the other long edge, hold it there, slide your finger this way, up and down. You get a perfect fold every time, and then open it up. So it doesn't matter if you want it to be held this way or this way. I think I'm going to go this way. I'm going to start with a pencil and then trace with a Sharpie. If you don't have a Sharpie, you can just trace it with something dark, a black colored pencil, or even just go over your pencil line darker with your pencil. That's fine too. It's up to you. I don't know if I would use a crayon. I think that might get too thick of a line since we have so many details to add. We're going to start at the top for the head. So we're not going to start way up here. I would say if you put your finger at the top of your paper and where your knuckle is, put a little dot right on the fold. That's about how far down the head will be. So if I put my finger here and right where my knuckle is, that's where the top of the head will be. Now we're going to draw the head. We're going to not go up and around, otherwise the head is going to look like a heart. So for your first motion, watch what my pencil's doing first. I'm going to go kind of straight to the side and horizontally, and then I'm going to take it around, and I'm not going right back to the fold. I'm going to stop a little bit away from the fold. So I'm going to practice first with my pencil, straight across and around. This is going to be the hardest part that we draw because it's the first line that we draw. Every time we draw, the first thing we put on our paper is usually the hardest because there's nothing else to go by. So here we go. We're going to start here. I'm going to go out and bring it to here. Not too tiny. We have an eye to fit in there. Great. Now we're going to do the body of the bird. So this is the part that we just drew. Now we're going to go all the way down and then stop right here. This is the fold right here of your paper. So you're not going to the fold with the body. You're going to probably like a fingernail's length away. Because we don't know where we want to end here, what I would recommend is to put a dot. And you could put it on the fold so you know where you want to go to. So if I take my picture and I kind of gauge where I want to go, I would say a whole finger's length from the bottom. So from the bottom of my paper, I'm going to put my whole finger there and put a dot right there. So here it was a finger to the knuckle. This is the whole finger from the bottom. Now I'm going to practice drawing the body. So I'm going to start from here. It's always a good idea to practice first. I'm going to go around, and then remember, don't go right to that dot. If I get my paper out, you want to end a little bit a fingernail's length away. And I'm using your finger because you probably have one nearby. So like that. And I do this a lot where I'll just kind of practice my line till I feel comfortable. And then I'm just going to go for it. Done. Now we're ready to draw our feet. So from where we ended, we're going to go way out, and we're going to do some kind of zigzaggy lines. In, out, and then we're gonna just kind of curve it around and down a little bit. Here we go. I'm gonna start here. I'm gonna go around, I'm gonna go out, in, out, in, out, in for our 3, and just curve it to there. Great. I take my picture back again. I ended here. Where's my feathers? And then I'm just going to go loop, loop to the fold. Loop, loop to the fold. Now this bottom part here, we're gonna fit 2 long tail feathers. I'm gonna curve it out here, curve it out there. I'm gonna squeeze one here. I'm going to go right to the fold. I drew right on top of that fold, and I'm gonna put one there. Now we're ready for the wing of our bird. And the wing is going to start here by the neck, and we're gonna kind of go down, almost like it's a roller coaster. We're going down and up and out. So kind of right here. Remember I said we're gonna go down and up and out. So we did our practice, down and up and out. Then what I would do next is we have our bumpy lines here. So we went right out to there. So I'm going to go in just a little bit and do 1 bumpy line. So I'm gonna go in a little bit. I'm gonna go bump, 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 bump. And then in here, do the same thing. This is going to turn into a little feather. And now my feathers are going to get added nice and long, and you see that they get a little bit longer as they get closer to the body of the bird. So I'm gonna go out, and you can really make your feathers look however you want. And I think I could fit 1 more in there. See how they got a little longer as they went in? Let's add our eye. And I'm just going to give it like a frowny line and a smiley line like an almond. And for the beak, right here, I'm going to curve in a little bit, and then I'm going to erase this line here. And then we're going to create our beak. It's really just the letter M. Great. Not worried about any of these inside designs yet. That's gonna happen when we're done with the other side. Now you can start adding some floral designs around. So I'm just gonna add some hearts and flowers. You can draw them just like I did, or you can just make your own. So I'm going to put a heart right here. I feel like that would be a nice place for that. I'm gonna start here with my flower, and I'm going to add some petals. If you want to have your petals alternate colors, make sure you do an even number of petals. I'm going to put 4 more here. 3, 4. Stem, I'm going to make it a double line so I have something to color in. And then I'm going to add some leaves. See how I make that go all the way out? And then I'm going to add my leaf there. I'm gonna sneak in another heart here. Maybe some little circle designs. Up here, I'm gonna add another flower right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And a stem. And some leaves, 2 more here. The more you add, the more interesting I think your picture looks. The Mexican Amati designs usually have a lot going on. It's usually the more the better instead of less is more. So I'm gonna add just a few more things as I'm working here. At the top of mine, I even added a little design. If we just look at it in the half, just kind of like a little curly line there. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that again. That way, and we're gonna sneak that around like that. Great. The next step, we want to trace everything with a Sharpie marker so that when we close it, we can see through to the other side. You may, after you trace it, want to take your whole paper to a window or a patio door and hold it onto the on the window and trace it that way. That's where my drawing go. So you can really see it. But I do want to show you one thing before you finish that. So I'm going to go ahead and trace mine. Okay, my bird and flower designs have all been traced. You can, if you want to, take an eraser and erase any of your pencil lines that are kind of hanging out still, but that's totally up to you. One thing to keep in mind before you trace your design on this side is that you are not going to be tracing the beak and the eye onto this side of your paper. So when you have it closed, just like we drew it the first time, you are going to just be going around and that way for the other side of the head. So it's just kind of like an empty part of the head there. Okay, so I just wanted to make sure that you remember not to trace the beak, especially with your Sharpie, on this side of your paper. All right, everybody, I just was over at my patio door and I held my paper in half and traced what I saw on this side onto this side. So now I have a pretty much almost finished drawing. All I need to do is draw in the designs inside of the bird. So we're going to start up here at the neck. And again, we're just going to make some bumpy lines across. And you see here how I went just a little, it has like a little bit of a peak in the head there. Which is fine. So you just have to be careful that you don't make it too much of a heart-shaped head, unless of course that's what you wanted. We're going to do a few more bumps all the way down. And this will give us some different areas to color. Right here, be a great place for one. And then right underneath, so we can color in the feet, the color. And we are finished. Our next step is to add color to your picture. There is really no right way or wrong way to color this unless you just use one color. So what I want you to do is use as many colors as you can. The brightest colors that you have. I was using markers for mine. I found that that was a little bit brighter and it colored a little faster than if I was going to use color pencil, but you can certainly use color pencil. You can certainly paint if you want to. Totally up to you how you want to add color to your picture. I'm going to go ahead and color mine, and I can't wait to see all of your designs coming in as you finish. As I've been coloring, I realized I wanted to make you aware of that whatever you color on this side should be the same on this side to keep with our symmetry. Since we drew this symmetrically where everything on this side matches up with this side, you want to make sure your colors also match up. So I'm going to color the wing on this side exactly like I did over here. right, all done. I really enjoyed coloring that. I hope you enjoy this one as much as I did, and have a wonderful week.